does it work?
Well, he went in through a port. It's the detail of whether he slung more bribes at that point is not known, but he meets up with Danielle in Greece, who's sorry, we've got to fill it in, who's sort of led the Interpol around a chase. The thing about Danielle is that she used to be a full druggie. She had this child in tow, her existing child. She's not what you'd expect as someone who's going to sort of befuddle a whole police force, but to give her her due, yeah, absolutely. She learnt some counter surveillance techniques. She used to be a store detective, I think, and she'd had some experience with police, and she learnt some counter surveillance techniques, and so she does a couple of laps around the Trevi Fountain and shakes Interpol, and the theory is that she jumps on a ferry to
Dimbruzzi ferry.
Yeah, the theory is she jumps on the ferry from Italy to down, I think the heel or the
Dimbruzzi.
The heel, yeah, and jumps on
student's done that.
Jumps on a ferry to and it's quite cheap as well. It's cheaper than some of the Melbourne tramlines, but it jumps on a ferry to Italy, from Italy to Greece, where she meets up with Tony and has the baby over there that they've conceived in Bonnie.
So it's a pregnant woman with a child evading Interpol.
Yes,
that's pretty pathetic by Interpol, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And the headline on the Herald Sun was Interplod. Interplod, Herald Sun.
Oh, the Herald, yeah.
And when he was caught in Athens and he was sitting in like the Chapel Street of Athens at an outdoor cafe, he must have felt very secure, and that can only come about if you've been bribing the local constabulary. Is that not the case?
I don't want to malign the Greek constabulary, but
he wasn't hiding.
He wasn't on their radar. He always meant a lot more to Australians, obviously, than to the Greeks.
They
would have been
international, because the Victorian government got it through to them that they wanted him.
Well, what happened in terms of sort of chasing him down is a federal agent and a Piranha detective went over together and had meetings with the local Greek constabulary, but this is only once Piranha had managed to work out that he was over there, that came through information from a former crony of his who may be getting $1 million reward as a result of it.
He gave evidence to quote, "Not interested in the $1 million reward. I'm not going to put in for it at a committal proceeding that I was involved in, and I didn't do it for the reward," to quote.
Right.
That's bullshit. He's got no application for it.
There is... Well, yeah.
He has.
Okay.
Is his name suppressed?
Yes, absolutely.
I can't remember his name.
Lucky you can't.
I think we can refer to him as he's been referred to 30-30. Yeah,
30-30. He did have good eyesight.
He did have another name. And let's not. To be honest, I don't care what his motivations were, and if there's a reward on the table.
$1 million motivation.
Well, good luck to him. If he's led to the downfall of a major criminal, then good luck to him. Even if he's a criminal himself. But
hang on a second. Has the Victorian government ever paid a reward?
That's a good question.
Have they ever paid any reward?
What about your friend?
Who? My mate?
Andrew Fraser's still waiting. No.
Still waiting.
Right.
I think they have, but I don't think they've paid anything major. Like 30-30, if you read carefully, the reward before it all happened was upon the apprehension of Mr. Mockbell and the successful extradition back to Melbourne.
So he should have got it already.
Happened. He should have been paid.
Listen, I don't know that he hasn't been, but
I don't think he has.
But just clearing his motive, like it's possible for people to have more than one motive. What police sources of mine tell me his motive was he's involved in this drug business. He had a sibling, I believe, I outlined this in the book, who became a cropper as a result of drugs, or a relative, and that kind of changed his view, and he thought, stuff it.
Now, just as a matter of legal note, if you named his sibling, would that be breaching the suppression order?
Yeah, that would be identifying him.
So be identifying him, okay. And so...
And one of his mates was a copper. An old school friend.
Right.
He gave evidence to that effect.
Yeah.
Just back to your former partner, Andrew Fraser, and his reward, that was for... Dupas, correct. Which he's been...
On the successful conviction of Mr. Dupas.
Which he's been successfully convicted three times, hasn't he?
No. Yeah, but they're waiting for the...
Fifth one? What are they waiting for?
The appeal.
Can't they give him half the $1 million reward in the meantime?
He doesn't get paid it 3 times.
Yeah. Just
But even then, it's still up to the discretion of the authorities anyway.
so it's a joke, this $1 million reward business.
So they don't have to pay it. No.
Well, some people might say these sort of suppression sort of situations we have in Victoria stop you properly reporting these things as well.
No.
I just want to touch on Andrew for a minute, and he's not well, and we wish you all the best, Andrew, and get better. You're his partner during the times that Killing Time, which is about to come on TV, it's been on Foxtel, is all about. You didn't see it when it was on Foxtel, Charlie?
No, what for?
Well, you know,
Waste of time, if you ask me.
well, you were involved at the time. You would have been curious, wouldn't you?
No.
Okay.
Look. I know what happened. I know what happened to me.
But you want to see how it was portrayed, don't you?
Not really.
You're not going to watch it when it's on Channel 7?
No.
Really?
From what I understand,
Yeah.
there's not even one character there that represents me, which is good.
What's the Robert De Niro character, isn't it?
What?
There's a Robert De Niro plays you in the show, doesn't he? No?
He's talking to a partner, and there's one partner who, at the time, who actually says something on the TV, and on the series, and that's a bloke named Ken Haynes. He's dead. The others who are his partners didn't get a word in. As I'm told,
Yeah.
because my other partner, who was a partner of ours at the time, watched it when it was on earlier,
And said,
well, he and I didn't get a Guernsey. I said, that's fine.
I want to ask you about those times, and you were representing Victor Pearce and
Yes.
the Wall Street guys.
Yes.
On that TV show, Killing Time, it looked like an incredibly dangerous situation to be even their lawyer. There was loaded shotguns and drunk people everywhere. And were you shitting yourself dealing with these sort of clients?
No.
Why no?
What for?
Because, you know,
Yeah,
a
for
drunk
sure.
guy with a gun and he's shooting goldfish or whatever he's shooting,
That
and you
never
could
happened.
be... That never happened?
Dennis-
Go on.
Well, how about he's killing a woman and then pouring Yarra River water down her throat?
Yeah,
so
that
happened,
but
for
that
example.
that didn't happen in front of a lawyer.
No,
That
but
was
it
held,
could...
held a Bragwork, I think, and
The people in the social circle keep disappearing and they keep getting the carpet cleaners in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you can read between the
yeah, but it
lines.
didn't happen in front of the lawyer.
No, but isn't
We
the
didn't know
lawyer
about
scared that they might get paranoid that the lawyer's going to dob them in and they don't...
Excuse me, how can we dob them in?
Well, you
They're
know
our
that.
clients.
No, but you know that.
And there's client privilege.
Yeah, you know that. But, you know, someone paranoid, drunk, stoned,
Oh.
off their head and with a loaded gun mightn't be thinking that clearly at that particular
They're the
time.
risks you run.
Well,
If
that's
you
what I'm
wanna-
asking you. Were you at all, at any time, worried about your personal safety? And not
Yes,
just
I was. When I got 2 death threats.
from,
Police.
for representing them.
Yes.
Well, that's not fair, is it?
Oh, well, that's the way the game goes.
Were you concerned that they were genuine?
Absolutely. When I was Saturday night at home and someone rings me and said, you're off. It can only have come from the police. It didn't come from anywhere else.
Because of Wall Street?
Yes.
Because they were very angry.
Well, they were as angry as they can be, but at the end of the day, they were angry, yes.
So I don't think it's widely understood that if you offend a criminal, and this is a sort of occupational hazard, being a journo like this, you offend a criminal, the only way a criminal can really find out where you live, if you go to efforts to sort of conceal where you live, is basically through a corrupt cop or through a corrupt Vic Roads official or...
Depends.
I mean, that's in the Gangland War. You know, in the Gangland War in Melbourne, you know, a lot of these crooks were finding out, you know, where other crooks lived through and their, you know, their daily sort of habits through corrupt cops or one or two
Corrupt
or three
officials.
corrupt
That's
detectives
right. Yeah.
in particular. Sometimes, you know, we've never really looked into the judiciary in Victoria in that way, or you know, Vic Roads or any of these things, but. If you offend a criminal, you know they've got to go that extra step. If you offend a corrupt coffer, then you know they've got all this information at their fingertips.
Yeah. And at that time of Wall Street, well, just on the note of Wall Street, they're trying to introduce retrospective or get rid of double jeopardy because of Wall Street, aren't they?
Not because of Wall Street.
Well, that's the case. That's
one case.
What's the current status of that?
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. They won't
From what I'm led to believe,
because that was one of the pledges, I think, of the election
From
promise.
what I'm led to believe, the paperwork was they were basing their application, or part of their application was being based on what McAvoy supposedly had said whilst being arrested in New South Wales.
Yeah.
And that comment was then put into context with the other evidence that was supposedly had been gathered, it was given to, I think, the coroner, who was Jenny Coate, who's a county court judge. She went through it, fine-tooth comb, and recommended that nothing be done, and recommended that they couldn't get anywhere with it. And then from the last I know, they gave the brief to the DPP, and I think at the time it was Jeremy Rapke, I'm not sure. And that's the last I heard of it. Now, I would suspect that if the coroner has said no, I don't see how Jeremy and anybody else could say yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Can you ask
yes,
Charlie.
yeah.
Can you ask Charlie what he thinks happened with Wall Street and who was behind it?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Not telling you.
Well, it's only me. I'll keep it to myself.
You tell him while we're having a musical break, while the microphones are off.
The bloke I acted for, Trevor Pettingill, I'm 99.9% confident he was not there. He had nothing to do with it. Okay,
It's settled
and that's
into
because I discovered the corroborative evidence which backed up his story myself.
He was the young...
He was Victor's younger brother.
Yeah.
maybe after the break.
Yeah, after break, you can while we've got the band in studio too, you can grill him for more information. Keep the mics on, dude. And on that note, we cross the studio too.